to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
A drone has struck a Turkish tanker in Ukraine's port of Odessa.
The MT Orinda was hit during the offloading of liquefied petroleum gas at Ismail port. All 16 crew on board were evacuated and no one was hurt. Ukrainian officials have not commented specifically on the tanker, although an official says Russian drones attacked the Odessa region overnight and damaged energy and port infrastructure in several cities. Ismail lies on the Black Sea estuary and is one of a string of ports that are vital for Ukrainian imports and exports. The attack occurred a day after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a deal to import U.S. liquefied natural gas through the area. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk says an explosion on a railway line linking Warsaw to southeastern Poland was an unprecedented act of sabotage. News and analysis, townhall.com. Maryland officials have more than doubled the estimated cost of replacing Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Experts are adding on 2 years to the projected completion date. The Maryland Transportation Authority says it's updating its financial forecast to include a price range of between $4.3 billion and $5.2 billion, with an anticipated open-to-traffic date late 2030. That's up from a previous estimated cost of $1.9 billion and an opening date of late 2028. Jason Walker reporting.
A new report by a Virginia-based research firm claims that China funneled billions in hidden loans to U.S. companies over the past quarter century, some targeting industries that are key to U.S. national security. The money ultimately allowed Chinese companies to buy stakes in American businesses. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning and welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Number one, a Nashville Chancery Court judge, a state judge, has told Governor Bill Lee he can't send the National Guard into Memphis, but has stayed the order for 5 days to allow an appeal. On what basis? We'll talk to Tom Pappert about the flimsy standard by which this left-wing lower court judge, state judge in Tennessee is claiming supremacy to Governor Bill Lee and the President of the United States. I don't think it's going to work on appeal. Number two, a federal district court judge in New York State has told the federal government they can't arrest illegal aliens on the state of New York courthouse steps. Really? They have a little thing called the Supremacy Clause. They forgot about it. Number three, the Epstein files vote today in the House. Now, the Democrats are worried. Why? You see, Larry Summers, the former president of Harvard, the former Secretary of Treasury for Bill Clinton, has said, I'm stepping away from public life. Yeah, there's a lot of embarrassing stuff there. He's going to have a hard time talking to his wife tonight, that'll tell you. Number four, Donald Trump was at McDonald's. The big, all the McDonald's franchisees met. Oh, it was great. We got some clips on that. Number five, Trump says he will strike cartels in Mexico. Number six, Chicago public schools are a total disaster. They got a whole bunch of COVID money. What did they do with it? Yeah, a bunch of teachers and administrators went on foreign trips to Finland and all other places. Not exactly helping your kids out, are they? Number 7, Mark Pulliam, retired attorney and author of Misrule of Law, will join us in the second hour. Are blue states trying to create a civil war, you think? Yeah, they're trying. Number 8, injustice in Wisconsin. A very respected retired judge is being persecuted by a Democrat attorney general. And Tom Pappert will talk about that with us. Number 9, Ketanji Brown Jackson throws a tantrum on the Supreme Court. Are you surprised? Number 10, we'll talk about Google's kind of crazy response to a Robbie Starbuck lawsuit. Number 11, Clint Brewer joins us in hour 3. And number 12, I'll be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. The in-studio host will be here, E.J. Host, and I will be the correspondent in Washington. I'll be broadcasting from John Frederick Studios, but the host here will be E.J., and I'll be corresponding tomorrow. And then we're up for an award, a National Journalism Award. Tom Pappert, Christina Botteri, and I are up for a National Journalism Award presented by the Young Americans Foundation. It's called the Dow Prize, a big event tomorrow night at a fancy hotel in Washington, D.C. I'll tell you all about it on Thursday. So there you go. That's the morning rundown for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. I talk all the time about my good friend Lenny McGill and the Glock Store. They've been a sponsor of our show for years, even before it was the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I've been lucky enough to go to every one of their incredible yearly Glock Store open houses. That's usually late spring. Well, this year, the Glock Store has set their sights on, wait for it, Black Friday. That's this month. It's an event you're going to want to try and attend from wherever you are. The details are just now coming together. But if I had to guess, I'm thinking huge discounts on everything, including Glocks and the latest and greatest in performance parts. Yes, knowing our friends at the Glock Store, there'll be more than a few great giveaways. Now, of course, all of the great Black Friday deals will also be available online, but the real party will be at the Glock Store right here in Nashville, Tennessee. That's the Black Friday celebration from Lenny McGill and the one and only Glock Store. It's minutes from the Nashville airport if you want to fly in. Shutdown's over. And worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Black Friday. So there you go. All right, let's get to the clips today. So they're going to vote on releasing the Epstein files today, and they're going to release them. And the left has been trying to say, oh, this is all, Donald Trump. There's nothing on Trump. There is apparently an awful lot of stuff on Democrats. Oh, and by the way, during some hearings on this, the delegate from the Virgin Island, a Democrat, was texting with Jeffrey Epstein. Hakeem Jeffries was asked about this. Here's clip 13.
Thanks. Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing, and at one point he tells her, good job?
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability. Thanks.
That's called a non-responsive answer. It's the Democrat who was working with Jeffrey Epstein to cover up Jeffrey's, to provide answers and questions that would deflect blame from him for all of the mess that he was involved in, allegedly. Here's a fun one. I really like this. So during the presidential election of 2024, Donald Trump had a big hit when he did a couple things. He was on a garbage truck, but before that, he was serving fries at McDonald's. He went to the big convention of McDonald's franchisees and operators, and, well, here's what he had to say, clip 14.
I'm thrilled to be here with the men and the women who are really the heart and soul of one of the greatest, most admired, and most successful companies in the history of the world, frankly, the one and only McDonald's. I've gone there a couple of times. And I'm honored to stand before you as the very first former McDonald's fry cook ever to become president of the United States. And I actually was there for about 30 minutes, and that was 30 minutes longer than Kamala was there. Despite her job at McDonald's, that didn't work out too well. And the person at McDonald's that informed us off the record that she never worked there, whoever you are, we appreciate that. That was very nice.
Well, that was kind of fun. And you know what I liked about that? He had this kid who was there teaching him how to do fries. And I can tell you this from my personal experience interviewing Trump a couple times. Not recently, but a couple times. But in interviewing him, you know, it was kind of interesting because I found he was very attentive and very focused on detail and trying to understand, you know, what my questions were. He was the same way with that kid. And the kid's going, here's a former president of the United States, maybe the future president. And he's asking me for advice, and he's following my attention. And this is a kid, you know, been making fries for a couple years, and he's good at making fries. And Trump was paying it. I like that a lot. Okay, something I don't like, how the Chicago public schools have been wasting money. Let's play this clip right now, clip 19.
Expenses at the Chicago public school system. Among the findings, employees at the cash-strapped district spent millions on trips to Las Vegas and even overseas. What is up with this? Mike Tobin is live there in the Windy City. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, David. The Inspector General took a look at the travel expenses of teachers and principals in the Chicago public school systems and concluded that when the bank accounts were fat with COVID money, the staff ran wild. As you mentioned, trips to Egypt, Finland, Hawaiian resorts, even went on a safari, and there was no oversight to stop them. The amount spent on travel in 2021 was $300,000. It jumped up in 2022 to $3.4 million.
Okay, so they got the COVID money and they blew it on personal travel and vacations. Yeah, that's your tax dollars at work. No wonder kids in Chicago cannot read or write. When we come back, Tom Pappert is going to talk about this out-of-control state judge here who's trying to tell Bill Leahy how to be governor and Donald Trump how to be president. Back after this.
Ponder this. Most of us are familiar with social media influencers. You know, people that claim expertise on some probably irrelevant topic. Many hours are wasted following people online who do not add an ounce of value to our lives. There is only one influencer who matters, and you should be following him and his messages every day. He holds the keys to our peace. He shows us how to live lives of meaning. He is there to help us carry our daily crosses. He is Jesus Christ, and he is the influencer extraordinaire. Are you one of his followers? Are you wasting time with useless information that will not bring peace and love to your life? Ask the Lord each day to provide you with spiritual influence that will change your life forever. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in the fight. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate, but a job is the number one factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. Strengthen our economy. Make America safer. Support the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This message paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I always buy my emergency food from My Patriot Supply. Fair prices, fast shipping, quality food.
We love buying from My Patriot Supply. The products are fantastic and service is excellent. My Patriot Supply is America's most trusted emergency food company, and right now they have a special offer for listeners of this station. It's called the Black Friday Survival Special, and it comes with a 4-week food supply, plus $150 worth of free gifts, including everything you need to prepare your emergency meals like a cook stove, fuel, fire starters, even a water purifier, bug-out bag, and more. It's the complete survival kit your family needs to ride out natural disasters, civil unrest, or worse. And it makes a great Christmas gift, but it's only available through Black Friday. So head to mypatriotsupply.com to check out everything that's included. With all the uncertainty in the world, disaster preparedness is more important than ever. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and get prepared today. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by Tom Pappert, a lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Also a fellow nominee, along with me and Christina Borteri, for the National Journalism Center's Dow Prize, which we'll find out if we won tomorrow night when I'm up in D.C. at a fancy restaurant. It's a black tie event. I've got to dish out a black tie and get the proper accoutrement for it. So we'll see how that works out. Tom, meanwhile, in a story that you've been following very closely, a Chancery Court judge in the Tennessee state judicial system by the name of Patricia Head Moskal thinks apparently that she's the both the governor of the state of Tennessee and the president of the United States. By the way, my experience with Chancery Court judges in Davidson County has been not exemplary, in the sense that, remember, one of them wanted to put me in jail for contempt of court on no basis, right? Ended up backing away from that. And then they concocted a ridiculous copyright claim so as to not to release the Covenant Killer Manifesto. That's on appeal. So tell us what this judge ruled late last night about the Governor Lee's deployment of the National Guard to Memphis.
Well, Michael, it's a bit of a confusing decision because, as you said, this is a Chancery Court judge elevating herself to the role of governor and president, determining that Governor Bill Lee did not, in fact, have the authority to send the Tennessee National Guard to Memphis as part of the Safe Memphis Task Force. Now, I want to start, Michael, by saying that I think this is a bit of a hollow victory for the left. I was looking back at some of our reporting, and I think The first 700 to 1,000 arrests in Memphis by this task force were made prior to the arrival of the National Guard. But of course, the Democrats, the number of plaintiffs on this case, Michael, it's like a who's who of Tennessee Democrats and immigrant activist groups. They sued claiming that this was an overreach of the governor's authority. And yes, as you said, this judge, this Chancery Court judge, Patricia Head Moskal, sided with the plaintiffs. The government has said it will appeal this decision. I think within the next 5 days, we will have notice of that appeal submitted formally, and then it will go up to the appellate court, where also, I think, as you've seen, Michael, the judges seem to be a little bit, I don't know how to put this politely, better at practicing law in Tennessee at the appellate level.
Yeah, I'd say so. Now, look, the argument first, let's talk about what the legal status of the Tennessee National Guard is. They are part of the organized militia of the United States under a federal law, Title 10, Title 32. They're reserve components of the federal United States Army and Air Force. Now, the governor of Tennessee commands the Tennessee National Guard or Title when they're involved in natural disasters or civil disturbances. They are the organized militia. They're not the unorganized militia, which consists of able-bodied males aged 17 to 45 who are not in the National Guard or Naval Militia. You know, militia has been around for a long time, and basically under the Tennessee Constitution in the second edition of it in the 1830s, you know, if you were just automatically a member of the militia. And that, I think, still is the case if you're 18 to 45 and a male. Now, Article 3, Section 5, I have a copy of the Constitution of the United States and the state of Tennessee. I'll read it. The governor shall be commander-in-chief of the Army and the Navy of the state and of the militia, that is the unorganized militia, not the National Guard, except when they shall be called into the service of the United States. But the militia shall not be called into service except in case of rebellion or invasion, and then only when the General Assembly shall declare by law that the public safety requires it. Okay, so they're hanging their hats on, well, this isn't an invasion, but it is in fact a civil disturbance. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, it absolutely is a civil disturbance. I mean, it's almost insulting to the people of Memphis for these Democrats and this judge, frankly, to get up there and act like there was no reason for the National Guard to be deployed. As long as I've been reporting about Tennessee, we've been talking about Memphis crime. It's been happening longer than I've been alive, frankly. Now, there's another part of this, Michael, that I think is not being reported, and that is what the government said, the Lee administration, their attorneys said during the actual hearings, which is this decision has the potential to not only limit the National Guard deployment during the civil unrest that happened every day in Memphis for decades, but this could, in fact, limit the governor's ability to deploy them when actual new emergencies start occurring. And it will be very interesting to see exactly how this could hamstring the government, unless, of course, it is appealed, as I fully expect it to be, hopefully in the near future.
Well, let's go back to the flooding that happened a while back in East Tennessee. I think the governor deployed the National Guard under the federal law, Title 32, for natural disasters. If this ruling were to be upheld, he couldn't do it.
That's exactly right. And by the way, the National Guard, Tennessee performed much better because it had a Republican governor during that national emergency, that natural emergency, than some of the neighboring states. And part of the reason it was able to outperform its neighbors was because it had the National Guard deployed very quickly and doing the job of saints, frankly. And again, as you said, this could and probably will prevent the governor from activating the National Guard should that happen again. Should the next hurricane season be even worse? It's really an irresponsible decision from this judge. But I do have a bit of history about this judge. It's hardly anything out of the normal in terms of what her bench comes up with.
Do you have any examples of what this judge has come up with in the past?
I was hoping you would ask, Michael. So she was an appointee of Governor Bill Haslam, by the way, back in 2019. And by 2023, she was already ruling in favor of Democrats who were suing Governor Bill Leahy to obtain more open access records. So this is a judge who likes it when you file FOIA requests, but only if you're hurting Republicans. She was also one of the panel judges who made the decision back in 2023 to stay the law changing the size of the Metro Council, trying to bring some sanity to that deep blue Democrat city. She also was one of the people in the Planned Parenthood decision who blocked a state law allowing the discipline of doctors who performed abortions in violation of Tennessee's state law. She was also the judge who said that Williamson County did nothing wrong by removing its Confederate flag. And the list goes on and on and on. I've got at least 4 more of these examples. She has reliably, in every controversial case that has come across her desk, sided against the Republicans and in favor of the Democrats or whoever else may be suing the Republicans.
So she will probably be reversed on appeal. Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Schimetti has outstanding attorneys. I think they'll do a very good job on it. But even if it were to be not reversed on appeal, I can promise you that the Tennessee Supreme Court will look at this and they will reverse, because the governor has to have the authority to call out the National Guard for natural disasters and civil disturbances, as federal law requires. And, by the way, I guess this judge missed this part of constitutional law in law school. There's something called the Supremacy Clause, which means if there's a conflict between state law, which he's misinterpreting, and federal law, guess which one wins out? That would be the federal law. It's right there in the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution. Should I send her a copy of the Constitution? I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
She might accuse you of sending threats to her office, Michael. She won't know what it is.
We're so mean, but so accurate. Tom, we got more litigation to talk about. Robbie Starbuck is suing Google, and they've filed to dismiss the case. We've got the Google guys trying to cover themselves up. Their comms people have talked to you, and we've got a statement from Robbie Starbuck and his attorneys, which I have, that we'll share with our listeners right when we get back. Tom Pappert, thanks for joining us. Back with the story of Robbie Starbuck's suit with Google after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation. Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Trouble for John Bolton. Who sends private secure messages when you're national security advisor to your wife and daughter? He's going to have to cut a deal to keep his wife and daughter out of prison.
Watch and listen weekday mornings, 10 Eastern, 9 Central on the John Fredericks channel on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, X, Rumble, Getter, and JFMN.TV. The Michael Patrick Leahy Show, live from Nashville.
No, don't do that, John. Yeah, he will spend time in the Gray Bar Hotel.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges. No charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, we have some breaking news about the lawsuit that Robbie Starbuck filed against Google for defamation. Tom, bring us up to speed on this lawsuit, if you would. Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network.
Well, Michael, it's the second lawsuit of its kind that I'm aware of from Robbie Starbuck. Starbuck earlier sued Meta, claiming that the platform which owns Facebook's AI was misleading its users about Robbie Starbuck. They later settled out of court, but now he is suing Google, arguing that at least two of their artificial intelligence models, their chatbots, Gemma and Gemini, said outlandish, outrageous, and untrue things about him. I mean, it runs the gamut. Some of the allegations are that he's been convicted of sexual assault, that he was present for January 6th, that he's a crypto scammer. None of this is true. None of this is even remotely true. There's not a crumb of evidence behind it. So he sued Google, the massive, massive company. And Google immediately came back by releasing a press statement through an obscure Twitter account, which I think set the stage for how this would go. Well, now, yesterday, Google has filed its motion to dismiss in the case, and a very interesting thing happened, and it tells our readers exactly how important this show is, this radio network is, and of course the Tennessee Star is, because Google reached out to me unprompted yesterday at about 4:45 in the afternoon to let us know that they filed the motion to dismiss, and they argued that Robbie Starbucks lawsuit wasn't very good. A couple of the reasons, they said there was no context for how the AI came up with these outputs. They didn't say who was typing in the prompts at the keyboard before the outputs were delivered, and nobody was identified as an individual that was actually misled by the artificial intelligence. And of course, even if all this were claimed, the company thinks that Starbucks would be unable to come up with evidence of actual malice on behalf of the company. These lawsuits, defamation is very difficult, Michael. But I think it's a bit different when you have a multi-billion-dollar artificial intelligence on the other side of the courtroom.
Well, right after you got late yesterday, the Google communications people apparently they're worried about this, and they reached out to you, and they made as if you were the judge in the case, right? It's filed in the federal district court, but they were trying to make their case to you so you would report it. Well, as you know, we're friends with Robbie Starbuck, and I reached out to him last night, and I explained what Google was saying about this lawsuit, and he talked with his legal team, the Dillon Group, Dillon, and he gave us, wait for it, a 7-paragraph statement. I'll read it to you in its entirety, and then it's lengthy, but it's quite good. I'll begin the statement now. Google's motion, like its AI, fabricates facts. Their motion to dismiss reads like an effort to mislead the court into believing that no third parties ever received the defamatory AI outputs that they generated about Mr. Starbuck. In reality, our complaint clearly identifies multiple third parties, and since filing, even more individuals have come forward with statements documenting that Google's AI told them how it impacted their view of Mr. Starbuck. Google's claim that Mr. Starbuck, quote, purposely misused its AI tool to yield allegation of child rape and sexual assaults is equal parts rank falsehood and victim blaming. The hubris of publishing life-altering lies about an innocent individual and then blaming the individual for those reckless outputs should be deeply concerning to users of Google's AI. It's also noteworthy that Google's story keeps changing. When we filed the complaint, Google told the press that our lawsuit was mostly about conduct from 2023. Now, in his own motion, Google finally concedes that the defamation at issue comes primarily from its 2025 AI outputs and that the harm is ongoing. Their earlier public statement was as misleading as the arguments they now present to the court. Google further claims that Mr. Starbuck's 2023 outreach, including emails and social media communication, somehow does not constitute notice. Yet, we have an email from Google's legal department acknowledging awareness of the issue in 2023. Any reasonable person understands what Google wants the court to ignore, that if they knew about this problem 2 years ago, that it should never have continued and that it never should have intensified in newer versions of their AI. The motion also tries to create imaginary legal hurdles for defamation victims, standards that simply do not exist under the law. This is Google's attempt to turn AI into a liability-free zone where tech giants are free to spread falsehoods without consequence. Our lawsuit satisfies every element of defamation, and we look forward to defeating this motion and proceeding to discovery where the full truth will come out. Our client has the receipts, and he intends for them to see the light of day. End of statement from the Dillon Group, which is representing Robbie Starbuck in his lawsuit against Google for defamation. Okay, that's a very long statement. Tom, your reaction?
I don't think Google understands who they're dealing with. I really don't. I mean, I without even issuing a judgment on whether I think Starbucks should win or lose this lawsuit, this is Robbie Starbuck you're talking about. He's a former U.S. House candidate. He's gotten a dozen or so Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies to completely drop their DEI policies using public outrage. And he's obtained a settlement from Meta, one of the big tech companies, one of the only big tech companies that's like the same size as Google. So I think that statement that you just read is a good indication that Google still does not understand the seriousness of this lawsuit, the resources at Starbucks' disposal, or the interest of those of us on the right, the conservative movement, in making sure that we're not going to, until the end of time, run the risk of being defamed by these AI chatbots that happen to be created by Silicon Valley leftists who hate us.
Yeah. By the way, Tom, in your research, I think you found out that the law firm that Google chose to represent it is an infamous DEI promoting law firm.
You know, Michael, that's true. The name escapes me right now, but yes, it is one of these big law firms that essentially is exactly who you would expect a major company like Google to hire. And again, I think this is just a misstep, though. Meta, equally large company, settled. Google, massive company, massive PR strategies, litigation budget. I think they can outlast this, Michael, but I just don't think it's going to go that way because their PR has been so bad. Again, they initially started all this. They responded to Starbucks' lawsuit with a tweet in response to, I believe it was a Bloomberg article. So it was very obscure and very hard to find. Now they have this motion to dismiss that, as Starbucks said, allegedly seems to ignore multiple parts of the original lawsuit itself. I just don't think that they're getting good advice, whether that's from some middle management PR person in the Silicon Valley offices or whether that's from the big law firm that they've chosen.
Yeah, the big law firm is Wilmer Hale, formerly Wilmer Cutler Pickering Hale and Dorr. That's a huge big law firm out of D.C. The case was filed in October in Delaware Superior Court. Now that's interesting. Why Delaware Superior Court? That's the state court. You can file defamation lawsuits in either federal court or state court. Delaware, probably because I think Google's parent company, Google LLC, is incorporated in Delaware. I think that's why.
That would make sense. I do know that these big tech companies in general, they have very strong litigation clauses in their terms of use that we all sign up for when we open an account. They typically want these cases to be filed in California, especially at the federal level. That way it can go to the Ninth Circuit on appeal. And I think that this could be a real masterstroke on behalf of Robbie Starbuck to do this at a state level court in Delaware, where the company probably has some, you said, where it's based, I believe. I think this is going to be a very difficult thing for Google to get to do the forum shopping that big tech companies typically enjoy.
So when those comms people from Google call you up and say, oh, have you written a story on it? Yeah, we've written a story on it. I think this statement, this part of the statement from Robbie Starbuck's attorneys is really spot on. This is Google's attempt to turn artificial intelligence into a liability-free zone where tech giants are free to spread falsehoods without consequence. That's the core of the problem right here, Tom, because now I haven't done any searches on what these guys are saying about the Tennessee Star or Tom Pappert or Michael Patrick Leahy, but I'm going to follow this case, and just for the heck of it, I might see what they say about us. And, if there's any falsehoods there or defamation, I don't know. We might take that into account.
I think it only makes sense.
Tom, it's not just us. Think of how many other conservatives in the country are looking at this. The liabilities for Google AI could be massive in this case, it seems to me.
Well, absolutely, Michael. And again, most people don't have Starbucks resources, but this could be happening to virtually anybody. And I think Google wants to preserve or recreate the Section 230 immunities that they enjoy on YouTube and their social media outlets.
Bingo.
But AI is not a person.
And on that note, Tom, we've got a third important topic to talk to you about. It's the lack of rule of law and the persecution of conservatives by Democrat state attorneys general, particularly in Wisconsin. Stick around because this is a terrible, terrible story about abuse of law. Back with Tom Pappert after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com. The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Tom Patrick joins us. Well, we've got out of control blue state attorneys general who totally disregard the rule of law. Case in point, the attorney general of Wisconsin, what's his name, Josh Kaul, is now persecuting a retired circuit court judge up there just because he was supporting Donald Trump. Tell us the details of this. It's really a terrible, terrible case.
It's a really confusing case to even understand how it was brought, Michael. It's one of the final alternate electors cases still proceeding in this country. I think it's Wisconsin and Arizona, where the Democrat attorneys general just will not let go of an election that happened almost 6 years ago now. I mean, it's really impossible to believe this is still ongoing. The three defendants are a former Dane County Circuit Judge, Jim Trupus. He was the person on the ground in Wisconsin leading the election challenge on behalf of the Trump campaign. But also indicted in Wisconsin are Mike Roman, the Republican opposition researcher, who is also indicted in Georgia and Arizona, and Kenneth Chesborough, the election lawyer, who again was indicted in
now,
those
these
states.
were not the alternate electors, right? These were just people, were attorneys who were working on the alternate elector case. And didn't they ask the attorney general there to review what they were doing? And didn't he approve of it? And now he's saying, I approved it, but I'm going to charge you with 11 felonies, and you could serve 66 years in a Wisconsin state prison if convicted.
That's exactly right. But it's even more than that, Michael. It all really began in 2020 when the same attorney general was representing Wisconsin during the election challenge, and the alternate electors came up. Because this is how it's been done since the 19th century, Michael. When you have a contested election, there's a legal challenge pending. You have to get alternative electors in order to preserve the candidate's legal challenge. It happened again in the 19th century. It happened with Richard Nixon and JFK in 1960, and it was JFK who had the alternate delegates in Hawaii. And so the Attorney General, Josh Kaul, wrote in a 2020 legal filing to the judge who was overseeing the election challenge, look, Judge, there's no reason to rush this. As soon as they get the alternate electors, we will have the entire month of November to see this case through. You don't need to make a decision. So Josh Kaul, all the way back in December of 2020, indicated that the Trump campaign, and in particular these three defendants, did absolutely nothing wrong. 2 years go by, Michael. There's been a series of complaints to the Board of Election, most of them anonymous, in Wisconsin, claiming that, again, this is some sort of horrible, illegal thing, the alternate electors, or as they like to call them, the Democrats, the fake electors strategy. Well, so the State Election Commission there in Wisconsin asks Attorney General Josh Kaul for an opinion, a legal opinion on the alternate elector strategy. And the Attorney General's office sends back a letter that outlines specifically that these men, these three defendants, and the alternate electors themselves did nothing wrong. They were following the proper procedure to challenge an election. Josh Kaul only changed his mind on this, as far as I can tell, following the conclusion of a civil lawsuit brought by a bunch of radical far-left legal groups that have connections to the J6 committee and all the usual suspects, including George Soros, only after the civil litigation concluded, Michael. And it concluded through a legal settlement by which the false electors admitted to something very vague. The three defendants we're talking about here, two of them were defendants in that civil case. They admitted to no wrongdoing, but only after this civil settlement came did Josh Kaul, last year, 4 years after the alleged offenses, did he decide to bring the case
also
against
just
these three
in Wisconsin
defendants.
in 2020. I think Biden won it by what 20,000 votes, something
20,000 or so votes.
And there were confirmed illegal use of drop boxes in the state where over like 230,000 votes were counted. That was illegal. And it was confirmed to be illegal. And yet the election stood, obviously there seemed to be plenty of reason to set forth alternate electors. Now, what is it that the Attorney General is charging these three, including the retired judge, graduate of Northwestern University Law School, very successful and respected attorney Jim Truppas? They're charging with 11 felonies. They could face 66 years in Wisconsin State Prison. What are they charging them with?
Now, it started out as a misdemeanor case, but after the Democrats lost the election last year, the Attorney General, Josh Kaul, this Democrat Attorney General, came back and amended his case to include 10 felonies for each defendant, and they are all various different iterations of fraud. The claim is, and it stands in direct defiance of the two documents I described earlier by Josh Kaul, but the claim is that these three men, Truppas, Chesborough, and Roman, concocted a plan. I have to read it from my article because it's too complicated to wing it,
you
Michael.
can't even figure out.
It alleges they conspired to fabricate and submit a false electoral certificate with the goal of confusing the certification process on January 6th, 2021.
I mean, it's just crazy. Well, there's more to talk about on that. This is clearly an abuse of the rule of law, an abuse of the office of Attorney General by Josh Kaul, the Democrat in Wisconsin. Tom Pappert, thanks for joining us today. Well done.
Thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure.
Up next, Mark Pulliam, misrule of law. Oh, we've got a long list. It's never ending. Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. An unusual spike in internet traffic is blamed for an outage that took some of the web's most popular sites and services offline for several hours this morning. The problem was at internet infrastructure provider Cloudflare, which is now back up and running. It impacted sites including X, Shopify, and ChatGPT, among many others. It's called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and it is expected to come up for a vote today in the House, directing the Department of Justice to release all files relating to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, something that President Trump says he supports. Meals and meetings are on the agenda today for President Trump as he welcomes the Saudi Crown Prince to the White House.
The visit begins with a formal arrival ceremony, followed by talks in the Oval Office and lunch. In the evening, the White House will put on a lavish dinner. It has all the trappings of a state visit, but it's an official visit because Crown Prince Mohammed is not technically a head of state. He and the president are expected to formalize several economic and military agreements.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston says the president also indicates that there will be a sale of advanced F-35 fighter jets to the Saudis, who Mr. Trump calls a great ally. The Dubai Air Show is up and running, with hometown airline Emirates ordering 65 Boeing 777 aircraft.
Emirates is looking to increase its fleets thanks to record earnings and apparently unending demand for flights through what has become a major east-west travel hub. Emirates reported $5.2 billion in profits last year. Military sales remain a focus at the show, with Russia taking part despite sanctions. The event has also seen a renewed interest in flying taxis, which Dubai hopes to get in the sky for riders next year. Bob Agnew reports.
The Dow's down more than 600 points. Townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
An Australian inmate demands access to a popular food item down under.
A prisoner in Australia is challenging a state's ban on Vegemite in prisons, claiming that denying him the spread violates his human rights. Andre McKechnie has taken his case to the Supreme Court of Victoria, arguing that the ban breaches his right to enjoy his culture as an Australian. Vegemite has been banned from Victorian prisons since 2006 because it interferes with narcotic detection dogs and can be used to produce alcohol. Critics, including the victims' advocates, say they find the lawsuit offensive. McKechnie, who's serving a life sentence for murder, seeks a court order to overturn the ban. His lawyers have not commented. I'm Charles Dillard.
Ukrainian President Zelensky planning to travel to Turkey this week in a bid to revive talks aimed at ending Russia's war. Townhall.com. A retired NFL star undergoes a life-changing organ transplant following a lengthy wait.
Former Cleveland Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar has received a liver transplant after being on the waiting list for more than a year. Kosar shared a video on social media Monday in which he said he feels good and is ready to enjoy life. The 61-year-old had been dealing with liver issues for years. He was diagnosed with cirrhosis and Parkinson's disease last year. Kosar played in the NFL for 12 seasons, leading the Browns to 3 AFC championship games. The Browns honored him with a tribute video before Sunday's game against the Ravens. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
A bankruptcy judge has approved the settlement of thousands of lawsuits against Purdue Pharma, maker of OxyContin. Requires members of the Sackler family to contribute up to $7 billion over time, plus they must give up ownership of the business. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are delighted to welcome to our microphones my favorite retired attorney. I keep trying to drag him back in. Practiced law for 30 years, an expert in employment law, graduate of the University of Texas School of Law, and now blogs at the Misrule of Law, which, by the way, every week, whatever you write about what you're coming on here for, Glenn Reynolds at Instapundit seems to find quite interesting, and he posts it. Welcome, Mark.
Well, I feel a little odd being here on a Tuesday morning, but we'll get back into sync next week.
You posed a question to me, and I think there are, to ask it is to answer it. Are blue states and rogue judges itching for a civil war?
Well, and that's I guess the most pessimistic way to look at it. But I think, and by all indications, that's what they're doing. They're engaged in massive resistance. We haven't seen anything like this since the 1950s, when there was resistance in the Jim Crow South to Brown versus Board of Education. There's also parallels to the 1850s in the run-up to the Civil War, where you had enormous polarization, you had law breaking, you had one half the country basically hating the other half of the country. And that, I guess, is a very grim message, but it's just as grim if you look at it and realistically what's going on in places like Chicago, which we'll talk about in a minute, is that you have a combination of blue state governors, blue city mayors, and left-wing judges, all and legal groups bringing lawsuits, a lot of which are funded by Soros-type dark money organizations. And what they're doing is stalling the Trump 2.0 agenda, hoping that the MAGA voters will, their attention span will be exhausted, that they'll get disappointed, they'll get frustrated, and that with the midterms, that the Democrats can regain control of Congress, at which point they'll be able to tie President Trump up in bogus impeachment efforts, just like they did in his first term, and with the target being get him out of the White House, replace him with one of their, Gavin Newsom or whomever, and then they can really begin in earnest transforming America. Joe Biden started it with his open borders agenda.
Well, Barack Obama did. It got interrupted by Trump, but Biden really made it far worse.
And Eric Holden, who is Obama's attorney general, has come out and said, when we get back in charge, we have to do some things that will fundamentally change the course so Republicans will never be able to win another election, admit D.C. and Puerto Rico as states, expand the court and pack it with left-wingers. Because right now, the only thing standing between us and this totalitarian left-wing state that the Democrats want to impose on the nation is the 6-3 majority that we have on the Supreme Court, thanks to President Trump, his administration, which is existing largely on the basis of executive orders because they're getting no support from supposedly Republican-controlled Congress. And if they can get rid of President Trump and get the Democrats in charge of Congress, first thing they're going to do is abolish the filibuster, so that then when they expand the court,
abolish it.
They don't need 60 votes. So, having said all that you go look to what is their game plan. Well, their game plan is look at what they're doing in Chicago, and that's the game plan. Is even though Chicago is one of the most crime-ridden cities in the country, an astonishing carnage with drive-by shootings, children in particular murdered at an absurd rate every single weekend, they don't want federal law enforcement there enforcing federal immigration laws in particular, because it's a sanctuary city in a sanctuary state, and they want to have this enormous number of illegal aliens in there. Why? Because they want these people someday to vote. Maybe they're voting already.
They're probably voting already.
They want them all to be on welfare,
illegally,
so that they're dependent on the big government, and also because just to defy President Trump, to show other blue states you can do this and get away with it, particularly if you've got the judiciary on your side. And so we've talked at previous sessions about this crazy judge in Chicago, Sarah Ellis, who...
When you say crazy judge, just when you start saying crazy judge, I automatically think, which crazy judge?
Yeah.
Because there are at least 250 far-left crazy judges at the federal district court judges, and pretty much every trial court judge in a blue city, like the judge here, Judge Patricia Head Moscow, who just decided that, Governor Lee can't send the National Guard into Memphis for ridiculous reasons.
Yeah.
Forgetting, of course, the supremacy clause and things of that nature. But the point is, there are innumerable crazy judges out there now.
And so the energetic ones, and maybe this is part of their audition to get promoted to the Court of Appeals, or maybe even the Supreme Court, if and when we have a future Democratic president who is in a position to do that. They're trying to show off how brazen they are in their exercise of power. And so the Sarah Ellis, even though she had faced a setback with the Seventh Circuit, we talked about previously when they were ordering the head of the Border Patrol to make a daily appearance in her courtroom to give her a report like he was a schoolboy that had been delinquent and turning in his homework, that she issued an injunction forbidding the use of tear gas and other riot control techniques by ICE in Chicago, claiming that these protests were completely peaceful and that the use of these techniques was a violation of the demonstrators' First Amendment rights. The same day that she issued that, there was a report from Chicago that gang members firing at ICE personnel from cars, vehicular collisions with ICE in order to injure them and to prevent them from carrying out their jobs.
Yeah.
And then even after they required them to take down the fences, we have riots occurring in front of the Broadview ICE facility that had to be broken up. So you have literally the ICE is under siege in Chicago, yet they're being protected and coddled, the mob, by Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, and the federal judiciary. And this is something, it's very bad for the city of Chicago. It's bad for the nation, but it also is providing encouragement to other blue state governors. And we are now seeing basically a replay of all of these tactics and strategies in Chicago overflowing into an adjacent state to Tennessee, North Carolina, which, like Virginia, used to be a sensible red state, but now it's, if not blue, certainly purple. And they've got a left-wing governor who's trying to outdo J.B. Pritzker, and a mayor there who's trying to outdo Brandon Johnson. And so we're seeing the same thing with orchestrated protests against ICE, complaints, legal actions, and so forth.
So they sent ICE into Charlotte, and they've made a huge number of arrests of illegal aliens there. And I saw a clip. There's big protests in Charlotte right now. I saw a report. Charlotte has a population of 900,000, 150,000 foreign-born, interestingly enough, from what the report that I saw. I haven't confirmed it. And then they do like the man in the street thing, and they talk to the protesters. Well, it's a child of an illegal alien. Oh, they're hurting our community. The idea now is that it's not the Constitution that binds our country. It is this idea of if you're here, however you got here, you're part of the community. That's got to change. We'll have more when we get back with Mark Pulliam. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in the fight. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate, but a job is the #1 factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. Strengthen our economy. Make America safer. Support the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This message paid for by the Reform Action Fund. Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet. Perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off, bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Mark Pulliam, author of Misrule of Law, retired attorney. Can I get you back to practice? I keep asking you that. You know, there's so much to be done. Now, having said that, you're talking about blue states and blue cities. They don't believe they're part of the United States of America or a constitutional republic. They have some greater idea of truth and what governance should be. There's no greater example of this than the Muslim Marxist mayor-elect of New York from Manhattan, Zohran Mamdani. Interestingly enough, he was interviewed, and he talked about the supremacy of international law. Listen to this. Listen to this clip.
You said you would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu based on the 2024 International Court Arrest Warrant. Next UN General Assembly, as mayor, would you do that?
So I've said time and again that I believe this is a city of international law, and being a city of international law means looking to uphold international law, and that means upholding the warrants from the International Criminal Court, whether they're for Benjamin Netanyahu or Vladimir Putin. I think that that's critically important to showcase our values, and unlike Donald Trump, I'm someone who looks to exist within the confines of the laws that we have. So I will look to exhaust every legal possibility, not to create my own
Exist within the laws that we have. Okay. Now, we're not bound by international law, but he's a very clever communicator, and in this instance, he's saying, well, the International Law Court, which is corrupt as all get out, has arrest warrants out for Benjamin Netanyahu because it made up stuff about him, and they'll put out arrest warrants for Trump or whoever if they want to. He's declaring that New York City has seceded from the United States of America by a statement like that. That's my view. Your thoughts, Mark Pulliam?
And no, it's astonishing to hear people like the commie from New York saying things like that he has greater allegiance to world government, to which the United States is not a treaty signer, and therefore we're not bound by any of this. He has greater allegiance to these global organizations than to the United States itself and our founding documents, our Constitution. And so it's, you could say, yeah, he is effectively seceded from the United States. I think ideologically they no longer consider themselves to be part of the United States. And when you have a large segment of voters, particularly in coastal cities, dominated by millennials and Gen Z.
And foreign-born.
36%
of the voters in New York City, foreign-born.
Electing socialists who have never had a real job. This woman that just got elected mayor in Seattle is like Mamdani, still on his parents' payroll. And I think the voters view that as a positive because they view that someday we're going to all be on the government's payroll, and the government is going to be our parents, are going to take care of us. We don't even have to live in the basement. We'll have rent-controlled, subsidized housing, and this is disturbing. And the MAGA voters need to see this for what it is that if the Democrats get their way, America as we understand it is over.
Yeah. It could be over. The beginning of it being over could be as soon as the midterm elections.
That's exactly right. So we were talking about Charlotte, how all this chaos in Chicago is slopping over. So Charlotte's the largest city in North Carolina. The governor is now saying things sound like J.B. Pritzker.
He's a Democrat.
So almost all Democrats. Some of them have come out of the closet and said, we're socialists. I think most of them are socialists in everything but a declaration to that effect. But so Charlotte Mayor, this is something in the Wall Street Journal, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, a Democrat, and leaders in the surrounding Mecklenburg County said on Saturday that the expected immigration enforcement was, quote, causing unnecessary fear and uncertainty in our community.
Let me just stop for a minute. In our community. That's the key phrase, because what she's saying is if you arrive physically within the city of Charlotte, you have every right of every other resident of that community. The American citizens and the non-citizens have the same rights. That's her idea.
So they see themselves as basically representing the illegal aliens in the community, and who cares about the American citizens who can't get high-paying jobs because all these unskilled jobs are dominated by illegals, or who are being threatened with criminality because of these third world, a lot of them gang members who are frankly a danger to public safety. And in Chicago, where we have judges trying to say that these people are innocent and we can't, they're somehow immune from the enforcement of federal law, which was passed by Congress. It is the law of the land, and that we can't even use measures to quell these violent protests. And in the course of a ICE enforcement that one of these suspects fired upon them, turns out was an El Salvadoran gang member with a long violent criminal history from El Salvador. And so the crazy thing is, according to these Democrat state and local officials, people like this El Salvadoran gang member or our fellow
Kilmar Abrego Garcia,
Maryland man, this is the new Rosa Parks. These are the civil rights heroes that they are trying
of
to...
the communists, formerly known as Democrats.
Yeah, and in what world does this make sense that third world violent gang members are this recipient of all of this care and attention and sympathy when, in fact, they should be subject to deportation, and that's it. And there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal this week about a raid in a town in Ohio outside of Columbus, a deeply red city, where ICE went in, raided a restaurant. They had a tip that there was a bunch of illegals working there, and sure enough, there were, including 3 with who had previously been deported and had made their way
come back in,
which is a felony.
Just so everybody knows, it is a misdemeanor to come into the United States illegally the first time. But if you are deported and then you come back, that's a felony.
And the people in the community, which are a lot of whom were Trump voters, were upset about this because this restaurant hosted the Rotary Club meetings and sponsored softball teams and so forth. And this idea that how it's really a crime that felony illegal aliens were apprehended. This is what they voted for. This is what we need to restore the rule of law in America. And if American voters, if the MAGA constituency gets wobbly about this, then we are doomed in the midterms. And if we're doomed in the midterms, then we're doomed the next presidential election cycle. So I think the MAGA community needs to, basically get serious about supporting Trump 2.0 and his immigration agenda. If we're going to close the borders down and make America America again, we need to support everything that ICE and the Border Patrol are doing and not feel sorry for people who are criminals, who are trespassers in the United States. Conrad Black had an essay today saying it's really a shame that illegal aliens with no criminal record are going to face deportation. They should be given immediate citizenship and not face deportation.
Now, I've liked Conrad Black, but Conrad, to step up, we're going to have to give you a couple of corrections.
This is another example of here's a Canadian lecturing us about how we need to protect our national sovereignty.
Yeah. The Canadian who spent 5 years in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad deal on his part, but he shouldn't have been in prison, but nonetheless. Conrad, really like you, good historian, but you got a kind of a Canadian-centric view of the world. It's totally wrong. Our problem here is too many foreign-born residents of the United States and too many illegal foreign-borns who are not assimilated into the United States. And oh, by the way, I know you're retired, but I think you'd make a great Chancery Court judge here in Tennessee.
We need some better Chancery Court judges.
Oh, that's an opening. Back after this.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumberyard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Mark Pulliam, retired attorney. We might start calling him Your Honor. Author of the blog Misrule of Law. Okay, so the very worst Supreme Court in American history is sitting on the court right now. Her name is Ketanji Brown Jackson. She likes to talk a lot, she has two really bad qualities. What are those two bad qualities?
Well, as she's both rabidly partisan to the far left and not very smart. And the problem with that combination is that if you are dumb enough, you do not realize how dumb you are. And particularly if you're an affirmative action admittee to an Ivy League school, you have this undeserved notion that you're, in fact, very smart.
Yeah.
And so you take that and you end up saying and doing some very dumb things. And we've talked about this on previous shows that KBJ, I'll refer to her as, is she's one of the three left-wing justices, but she's the least intelligent and the least impressive. One of Elena Kagan.
So let's just start. It's a 6-3 court.
Yeah.
Basically. And the three liberals, leftists, in descending order of intellect. Elena Kagan, she's pretty smart.
Yeah, she's very smart. She worked in the Solicitor General's office, may have been Solicitor General.
She's dean at the Harvard Law School. She's
Dean
very
at Harvard
intelligent.
Law School.
She's a lefty.
She's lefty, but she can pretend, and she's smart enough that she can have a conversation with an originalist and not get insulted by it.
Sotomayor is smart enough at times, and but she was like in the list of worst Supreme Court justices until Ketanji Brown Jackson overshadowed her.
Right, and so she's a big promoter of identity politics and the grievances. But KBJ is terrible, and so she writes these opinions as dissents that neither of the other two are willing to go along with, just because
they're that stupid.
They're that stupid.
Now let me just set this one up. Okay, so the way this works is, basically, she's the Supreme Court justice. She's assigned to emergency appeals in the First Circuit, which encompasses Massachusetts. She was responsible for issuing the initial stay of the rogue injunctions granted by the activist judges in Rhode Island, the Democrat trial lawyer who gave all this money to Obama, and Massachusetts, that ordered the Trump administration to continue paying during the shutdown SNAP benefits despite the fact that they had not been appropriated by Congress. That's entirely usurping the authority.
So that was a crazy ruling that as soon as it got reported, everybody knew that is going to get stayed. And so when
you say stay, it means stopped. Temporary.
An emergency stop, a petition to stay, which was filed by Pam Bondi's Justice Department. And so it gets sent to her in the first instance. And initially they were just asking for like a 24-hour stay. And KBJ issued that. And I thought, and we commented upon it, how
what we said at the time was, Chief Justice Roberts, who makes it, said, okay, you're going to say that you're going to have to issue this,
right,
Ketanji Brown Jackson. But the rest of the story.
Okay, so it was a very short stay, and KBJ ordered a very accelerated briefing schedule, and so very quickly within that 24-hour period, what they were asking for is a longer stay because it was pending before the First Circuit, which had not issued a stay, but they were going to hear it on the merits. And KBJ was not inclined to grant any additional stay, even though everybody else on the court was. So as a ministerial matter, when you are the circuit justice, you're sort of the intermediary between the litigants and the rest of the court on these emergency petitions. And so when they asked for more time, and the court apparently was willing to grant them more time, the ordinary way to do this would be that you would say the application for stay presented to Justice Jackson and by her referred to the court is granted. That's the established verbiage for these kinds of ministerial orders.
That's what you would say, yeah.
Her order, the one that was actually issued in the case called Rollins versus Rhode Island Council of Churches, which was the SNAP case, she says the application for stay presented to Justice Jackson is referred to the court. And as if she was not even there. She was not the person that was referring it. It was in the passive voice, is referred, not clear who referred it. And Josh Blackman, writing in the Volokh Report, a blog.
The Volokh Conspiracy.
Yeah. He was speculating that maybe, she wasn't the actual person that conveyed it. Maybe because she refused to participate, somebody else in the court did it. I think that it was just a matter of personal pique, that she was the person ministerially who referred this, but she was so offended by it and so opposed to it, she didn't want to be associated with it. So she says that it was is referred to the court as if she had nothing to do with it. There are court watchers who monitor these things very closely, particularly highly publicized cases like this. And there was an enormous amount of attention given to the wording in this order and why she deviated from the normal precedent. But all these things, and I think maybe that was part of it also, is that it's just an attention-gathering stunt, like making an appearance in an off-Broadway show, like she did.
Let's just kind of get to what she said in that order. Was the application for stay presented to Justice Jackson is referred to the court, right?
Right.
That's what she said.
Right.
But what the normal standard would be in a previous one, the application for stay presented to Justice Jackson and by her referred to the court is granted.
Right.
Yeah. So, but basically, it's a little bit of wordsmithing there.
Right. And then at the end, she says Justice Jackson would deny the request for extension of the administrative stay and would deny the application. Of course, she was outvoted, and nobody else noted, either Kagan or Sotomayor, indicated that they would join her in opposing it. The whole thing became moot as soon as the government shutdown ended, because then the SNAP benefits are going to get funded, and there's no need to have an order ordering it to be funded. So it was really much ado about nothing, which makes it all the more odd that somebody would go to this extent to basically throw a fit, to have a tantrum, and to refuse to go along, even though the court exists on the basis of collegiality. You got these 9 people who work together in cloistered circumstances, and yet she wants to be the outlier. She's not going to play by the rules, and that has got to cause enormous resentment on the part of her colleagues on both sides, not just the conservatives, but also the liberals. Now, you say she's the worst judge in Supreme Court history. I think it's too soon to tell that. We had William Brennan, who was a left-winger, but he was very effective.
He was effective, and he
but he was effective in a bad way.
He was intelligent.
Well, that's even worse, is that if you're intelligent and competent and you're able to steer the court in the wrong direction, I think in her case, she's going to become a laughingstock, an embarrassment, and she's going to be somebody that doesn't get anything done because she has no coalition building skills. And, she may be regarded as somebody like a William O. Douglas, kind of a wasted appointment, as somebody who's basically just become almost the butt of a joke. And who
she's worse than William O. Douglas. I mean, I would say also, look, what is it? If you want to get into her mind, what is it? Well, she's a brave person. She's out there fighting for justice, but not being a justice.
Yeah.
Right. And she's doing silly things like singing on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It brings down the prestige of the court.
Well, and she files dissents where she complains that the majority is doing things in a mind-numbingly technical way, and they're relying on mere legalese.
She's insulting the other justices, the majority.
And she even put a phrase in her dissent: "A Martian arriving here from another planet would see these circumstances and surely wonder, what good is the Constitution then? Those things Americans call constitutional rights seem hardly worth the paper they are written on." And this is this is her dissent. Her dissent would have allowed all of the 600-plus district court judges in America to grant nationwide injunctions willy-nilly.
Yeah, she's not that bright, and she's rabidly partisan, as you said. Now, here's the thing. If the Democrats win the presidency, in 2028. They will destroy the filibuster. They'll get rid of it. And they'll pack the court. There will be 4 more Ketanji Brown Jacksons. And all these district court judges out there that are issuing these ridiculous rulings, they've got their hands up. I'm ready.
Call
I'm
on
ready.
me. Call
Put
on
me
me.
in, coach.
Put me in, coach.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And basically then you'd have 5 very bad, very partisan, very stupid justices, and then 8 sane people.
And Americans need to understand that the only thing standing between them and being in a country run like the city of New York is President Trump in the White House and the 6 originalists who form currently a majority on the court. The court can be expanded without a constitutional amendment. All it takes is an act of Congress, and it didn't pass back during the New Deal when FDR tried it. But I hate to say it, but the country is much more badly divided now than it was then.
Oh, it is.
And that we have all the Democrats have drunk the Kool-Aid, and I think would go along with them if they had a chance.
Back with more after this. He is, Your Honor, Mark Bullion. Back after this.
Ponder this, Judgment Day, the day you go before the Lord face to face. For many of us, this day seems like a long way away, and we are told that all of us will be in a better place when we die. What many of us forget is that our God is a God of justice. On Judgment Day, you will stand before the Lord and account for all of your thoughts, words, and actions during your time here on earth. You might be thinking that you're not such a bad dude, you didn't kill anyone, and you went to church every now and then, so you've earned your ticket to heaven. Hold that thought, as the Lord has told us what we need to get through those pearly gates. We must believe in Him, be baptized, follow Him by keeping His commandments, love Him, and love our friends and enemies. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you possess, how many awards or accolades are on your resume, or how much money you have, nor how high you are on the ladder of success. Judgment Day is real, and you are not judged by a jury of your peers. Prepare each day for Judgment Day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Be Fur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BeFurandAfterGrooming.com. Be Fur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Mark Pulliam, author of A Misrule of Law, a retired attorney. Mark, you know, when you and I were youngsters a while back, Democrats were opposed to crime. But today, they seem to be very much in favor of crime. What's the end game there?
Well, I think when you see this very tolerant, almost pro-criminal position by Democrats these days, and I spent some time thinking, why are they doing this? What is their goal? And I think fundamentally the difference between liberals and conservatives is the conception of human nature, that conservatives are hard-headed enough to accept the biblical and theological and philosophical notion that humans are flawed, inherently flawed, and are prone to vices, including a temptation to engage in criminality. And the only way that you can curb that is by forming a government of civil society, the foremost objective of which is to provide public safety, to protect citizens from criminality. And so, so if you look at it that way, it's a pretty basic thing that in the state of nature, where there is no government, what would happen is that one group of people would try to steal the other people's property, would try to assault them, kill them, rape the women, etc. And the only way you can prevent having a war of all against all, basically law of the jungle, is that you form a society and you have laws, you have police departments, you have courts, and you apprehend lawbreakers and you hold them accountable. And that is the rule of law. And that's what separates a barbarism from a civilized society, is that you understand human nature, you do something about it by having a rule of law. Well, so after we grew up, the Democratic Party sort of abandoned that and sort of drifted into identity politics. And the current thinking is the only reason that we have crime in the inner cities is because of systemic racism, because of
poverty,
white privilege, right, et cetera, all of which is our fault. And that if we had, and Brandon Johnson has said this in Chicago, if we had enough welfare programs, if everybody was on the dole, there would no longer be any theft, there would no longer be any carjackings, any crime, which is a delusional idea, which he believes that men are angels. And the only reason that men engage in crime or any of the other 7 deadly sins is because they are socially disadvantaged. And it's the Democrat Party's obligation to correct all of those disadvantages. Well, this conception is really an assault on civilized society, because and you look at what are they doing to implement this worldview. So they defund the police, they enact Soros-type prosecutors who will deliberately not prosecute certain crimes. They eliminate cash bail so that a violent offender who gets arrested is immediately released. They want to close down the prisons. The crazy commie from New York has said he wants to eliminate prisons because they are basically just where places where the patriarchal racist society punishes blacks for being disadvantaged, etc. It's a lunatic notion, but it's a lunatic notion that has currency and is gaining more currency in today's...
Why is it gaining currency?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with a generation, or maybe now a couple generations of students who've been totally indoctrinated K through 12 and especially in college to believe all this claptrap about identity politics and systemic racism and all of this. And they believe that everything about our institutions is evil and that everybody is, in fact, good at heart. That I think it's also, a lack of traditional religious belief, because it is central. Original sin is central to most
there's
Christians.
polling. Religious belief is on the decline in the United States.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. And propaganda from K-12 public schools is way on the increase. Propaganda, leftist propaganda, anti-American propaganda at colleges, way on the increase.
Yeah.
And that's what you're dealing with.
Yeah. And so it's sort of a rebellion against the past, a rebellion against maybe their parents and parental authority in general. And it's kind of crazy, but it's a widespread belief that look at in the wake of the George Floyd summer, that many cities cut the funding of police departments. Who does that? That it's this idea that we don't need the police, we need social workers, and people have advocated this. We need to eliminate the police and send social workers out to deal with these problems. A domestic dispute, well, let a social worker deal with it. And so this is part of the delusion. You wonder, where did this delusion come from? The same delusion that people think that biological sex is something that can be changed by whim. There's so many aspects of that. You can create wealth with a wave of a wand, that you can just deem affordable housing to exist without people actually building it.
And on that note, Mark Pulliam, author of Misrule of Law, every week you're here for 1 hour. You'll be here next Monday.
Next Monday.
I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. We'll be back. If all goes well, Clint Brewer will join us. We've got some details on the TN7 special election. Back after this.
The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
When you're learning something at Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. News Talk, AM 760, AM 730, The Flame.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The House today is set to vote on legislation to force the Justice Department to publicly release its files on the late financier Jeffrey Epstein. It's a culmination of a months-long effort that's overcome opposition, sometimes from President Trump and Republican leadership. Now all Republicans seem to be on board. The Trump administration's blueprint to secure and govern Gaza has won strong approval at the United Nations.
Israel, along with Arab allies of the U.S., was very much involved in the negotiations that went on intensely, leading to the final text of this UN Security Council resolution. And there is, this rejection by Hamas of the resolution, which is really key here. The Palestinian Authority has welcomed the new resolution, but Hamas came out really stressing that it was not ready to give up its weapons without the creation of a Palestinian state.
The passage is a crucial step that provides international support for U.S. efforts to move the devastated territory toward peace following 2 years of war brought on by the Hamas terrorist group's October 7, 2023 attack. Indiana homeowner has been charged with manslaughter in the killing of a house cleaner that showed up at the wrong address. Boone County, Indiana prosecutor Kent Eastwood says the voluntary manslaughter charge being filed against Kurt Anderson should not be interpreted as a challenge to the state's stand your ground law.
Based upon the particular evidence and circumstances of this case, we have determined that Kurt Anderson's actions do not fall within the legal protections provided by the Indiana stand your ground law. This case is not about undermining the law. It's about applying the law to the facts of this case, and that is what we intend to prove at trial.
In those comments, courtesy of WRTV. Slow going once again today on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down by 462 points this hour. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say micro. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Here's a midday Wall Street business report.
Wall Street opened with losses again this morning as artificial intelligence-related shares continue to drag markets lower. Computer chip giant NVIDIA, the center of the craze over AI, slid another 1.3% ahead of its earnings report tomorrow. It fell 1.9% yesterday, and this month alone, NVIDIA shares are down 8.6%. Most other chip makers are also in retreat, with Micron, Intel, and Qualcomm all shedding between 1% and 2%. Amazon lost 1.8%. In the retail sector, Home Depot slid 3.1% after the hardware store chain reported profits that fell short of Wall Street targets. Home Depot also lowered its fiscal 2025 adjusted earnings forecast, but raised its expectations for sales growth. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Ford and Amazon are joining forces to sell more used cars. Here's Bill Alexander.
It's a deal to let the automakers' franchise dealers sell certified pre-owned vehicles through the online retail giant. The new program will allow customers to secure financing, start paperwork, and schedule a pickup time for the vehicles at participating Ford dealers. Some steps, such as final signature, may still need to be completed in person. The deal comes 2 years after Amazon said it would allow dealers to sell cars through its site, starting with vehicles from South Korean automaker Hyundai.
That is Bill Alexander reporting. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll is warning that drones pose what he calls the threat of humanity's lifetime, calling for rapid development of countermeasures. His remarks came amid growing fears over autonomous weapons and AI-driven warfare capabilities around the world. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, All-Star panelist, good friend Clint Brewer, a fully recovered journalist.
Fully recovered, Mike.
And All-Star panelist.
Glad to be here, man.
So, there's a special election going on here.
There is.
Tennessee 7th Congressional District. And that district was represented by Mark Green.
Mm-hmm.
He won, I think, like 19 points last time around. It encompasses Montgomery County, which is Fort Campbell, Davidson County, and Williamson County. Those three counties represent about 75% of the vote, and 11 rural counties. The winner of the GOP primary was Matt Van Epps, who is a West Point grad, combat veteran, served in the Bill Lee administration. The winner, and he won fairly easily.
Yes.
52-25. It's a pretty strong victory. The winner on the Democrat side squeaked by Afton Bain, far left, self-styled AOC of Tennessee. Now, the special general election is December 2nd, not too long from now. That's 15 days from now, right? Not too far at all from today. And, actually, it's 2 weeks from today. Yeah.
That's right.
2 weeks from today.
That's right.
Early voting is going on. And there's some concern because a powerful, well-funded political action committee with, we're told, ties to George Soros is promoting the candidacy of an independent candidate. Clearly what they're trying to do is draw votes away from Matt Van Epps for the independent. Is this race being properly attended to by Republicans?
I mean, I think it is. The president came out and supported Mr. Van Epps early. He's come back out and said it again, I believe. I think from the White House's point of view, they're doing everything they can. I think the president has not spared any attention to it. Special elections are hard. I mean, they're really hard.
Low turnout.
They're low turnout. It's an off-year election. Here's the other problem. Both of these, and this isn't a problem, it's a problem for both candidates. Both fields were crowded, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got a limited amount of time to get all the various constituencies in each party to coalesce around you. And that really matters heading into an off-year, late-cycle election like this. I mean, people aren't used to going and voting for a congressman in December.
Yeah, it's not on the things of to do.
I mean, there's a lot going on in December in people's lives.
Let's go buy some Christmas
and
gifts.
vote, right? And it's
and vote. By the way,
it's difficult, and so in terms of being properly attended to by Republicans, I think that. Matt had really good fundraising, so I think there's support for him out there. But I will say this: these specials and these off-year things, Democrats, at least locally, are energized.
They are,
and you could see that in the vote totals. The aggregate vote total in their primary was not too far off the Republican total.
Well, and in Davidson County.
Yes.
I mean, there were 14,000 Democrats who voted and 3,000 Republicans.
Yeah, and that's a margin, right?
That's a margin,
and
more than you would expect.
I think that nationally, Democrats are more desperate for wins right now than Republicans are. I think you said, is it being properly attended to? I think from the top down, it is being properly attended to. I think at the grassroots level, people probably feel pretty comfortable. And they look at it as a win, right? And they just go, oh, it's a Republican in the 7th. He's going to win. And I do believe he's going to win.
And yet, the Democrats, they've got a lot of ground game going on, particularly in Davidson County. The far left group, Indivisible, apparently we're told, is out there doing door-to-door.
Well, and I think the people who did not support Afton Bain on the Democratic side and the groups that did not participate in her primary, I think they've held their noses and come along, right? Or they've sort of buried their own wishes about who they wanted to run or wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I mean, you know, regardless of what people have to say, Megan Barry is still a force in politics in Davidson County. She's been very behind Afton Bain's bid, and people on the left have coalesced around Representative Bain.
And as a result, there have been a couple of conservative groups that have put out attack ads against Afton Bain. We're going to play a couple of them right now. Let's go to clip 21 right now. This is, I think, from Club for Growth Action.
Okay.
Afton Bain says,
I'm a very radical person.
So radical, Bain thinks.
Rioting is a way for people to express themselves.
Worse, Bain went on a midnight joyride harassing ICE officers and state troopers.
This is great. We've got our girl squad and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is like
Unhinged.
And it's really scary.
Stop Afton Bain. So radical, it's scary. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this ad.
So that's Club for Growth Action.
Right.
There's another group that has a spot out. I think it's called like Conservatives for American Excellence, something like that. I think it may be the group affiliated with Paul Singer. I'm not quite sure on that. It's hard to keep.
Same group that weighed in during the primaries?
I think so. I think so. We'll play that clip right now.
Meet liberal Afton Bain.
I'm a very radical person.
Bain not only joined and praised defund the police liberals, Afton Bain bragged about harassing law enforcement.
We're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers.
Worse, Afton Bain supports permanent sex changes for minors.
I ran on protecting trans children.
If we don't vote, they win.
I'm a very radical person.
Vote today to stop radical liberal Afton Bain. Conservatives for American Excellence is responsible for the content of this ad.
So, you know, here's the thing that you have to think about. Obviously, you know, she's appealing to a very specific audience, right? Matt Van Epps benefited greatly in the primary from independent expenditures on his behalf. I don't think it's a question of whether Matt is going to win or not. I think he's going to win. The question is the margin of victory going to be acceptable so that it doesn't contribute to a negative narrative nationally about Republicans going into the midterms? That's the issue. And, you know, I think Matt's going to win. But at the same time, you know, in order to maintain the control Republicans have over the state, it's got to be, as they say in college football, he needs some style points. So I think that is really the issue. And you know, it should be important to Republican voters. I mean, you do not want to give Democrats any kind of traction, even if it's a moral victory, heading into the midterms. So they need to go out and vote.
Yeah. And if you're listening right now, go out and vote.
Yep.
And if you live in the 7th District, there's nothing more important for you to do today than to go and vote.
Well, and Afton Bain is likely playing. This is a good step for her politically if you support the left. I mean, this could presage a future run for mayor of Nashville or something else. So she actually doesn't live in the 7th. She actually lives in the 6th.
Well, asterisk.
Or 5th. I can't remember.
It doesn't
Ogles
matter.
District, I'm sorry.
Because nobody cares.
Right.
And why? Well, first, legally she can do it.
Yes.
Right. Under the Constitution, you just have to be a resident of the state.
Right. But my point is, this builds her profile.
Oh, yeah.
And there are other things she could run for in the future.
I think, and for her, it's a no-lose situation. If she loses, unless she gets really stomped in the special election.
Well, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
So for her political future, she wants to get it within single digits.
When we come back, a vote on the Epstein files this afternoon in Washington, D.C., releasing them. And then some weirdness with Marjorie Taylor Greene that I don't quite understand.
The Epstein file wasn't weirdness enough?
They're combined. Back after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours. True American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Clint Brewer in studio. Clint, there will be a vote in about an hour and a half in the House of Representatives to release all the Epstein files. It's been a big, big deal. And the Democrats clearly are trying to kind of tie Donald Trump to Epstein.
Yes.
The pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. There's not really much evidence.
No.
There's no evidence, actually.
No.
Zero zip nada. And yet they keep pushing it. And there are certain people on the Republican side who've made it a big deal. These are the kind of, I'll call them a couple of gadfly Republicans. One being Thomas Massey.
Right.
Who this morning held a joint press conference with his progressive Democrat buddy, Ro Khanna, the guy from California, to say, okay, got to release this stuff. And then, I don't know what this person is doing. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes.
Who has decided all of a sudden that she doesn't like Donald Trump. And she's going all over she's on The View, she's on CNN, and she's attacking Trump for not, for his.
She had been off the reservation before. I mean, she had a lot to say about bombing Iran's nuclear facilities. She's had a lot to say about.
She was
Gaza.
opposed to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, not entirely surprising. I mean, I was listening to journalists, a couple of months ago talk about her as a presidential contender.
No.
Yes. Now, these are not journalists. These are journalists from the left side of the aisle. But, that's how little they understand
Do you think in her...
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Do you think she thinks she's got a chance at this?
I think in their secret little heart of hearts, almost everyone elected to a federal office believes they could be the president of the United States.
I think you're probably right.
I mean, it's kind of like how
That's interesting.
Everybody elected to a city council already starts imagining themselves the governor. I mean, I think that I think they all harbor those thoughts at one time or another. Yeah, sure.
A deeply flawed candidate she would be.
Yeah. Got some personal baggage.
A lot of personal baggage.
Things have happened at home. I think it's certainly the right decision to release these files. I think that what the House Democrats released, ironically, has cast more doubt on reporters than has anybody in.
Yeah.
Actual...
Well, I think, and Trump reversed himself on this, and I think the reason was he'd said, "Look, you put these files out, there'll be some people that are innocent."
Right.
That will be, caught up in this net, and just having their names out there is negative. However, I think when some of them were available and the Democrats selectively released things in a way designed to kind of point a finger at Donald Trump, I think he said, this is ridiculous. Let's just release them all and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Now, the first casualty. Ready? This is from NBC News. It just was published late last night. Larry Summers. Actually, this was published, 8:49 p.m. last night. Larry Summers, who was Treasury Secretary under President Bill Clinton, said late Monday he will be stepping back from public commitments following the recent publication of his correspondence with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, I am deeply ashamed of my actions and recognize the pain they have caused. I take full responsibility for my misguided decision to continue communicating with Mr. Epstein, Summers said in a statement. What? This is like, it's not a good look.
Well, I mean, people do these things and they think that, the correspondence will never come out. Right? I mean, they just assume these are private emails. Nobody could have ever imagined this, and I'm not excusing his actions. I'm just saying that people don't ever, who would have ever thought that this issue would become the center and the focus of all national attention given everything else going on in the world? I'm not saying it's not important. It is important. But, there's a lot going on, and for this to dominate how many news cycles now,
Anything digital lives forever.
Yeah.
Today. The House Oversight Committee, this is from the NBC News article, last week released more than 20,000 emails from the Epstein's estate, which included extensive correspondence between the disgraced financier and Summers. The most recent one was from the day before Epstein was arrested in 2019. Here's more from Larry Summers' statement. Quote, while continuing to fulfill my teaching obligations, I will be stepping back from public commitments as one part of my broader effort to rebuild trust and repair relationships with the people closest to me. Hint, his wife has seen these emails.
Yeah.
Hint, I think part of it, okay, the emails released last week revealed a close relationship between Epstein and Summers. In a March 2019 exchange, they corresponded about a woman Summers was interested in. Okay. Yeah.
Well, and I can't recall her name, but like the current general counsel of Goldman Sachs is in the emails. You've got really power. This is why this is so interesting to the American people and why folks have demanded their release is because of, the proximity this guy had to real power. And I read a story this morning, and it was in the Free Press. It was an analysis piece of the whole thing. And it was talking about how unbelievably the American people still don't understand or know where Jeffrey Epstein's wealth came from.
Yeah. I mean hint, blackmail or CIA, those are the best guesses.
Well,
right?
Nobody really understands how he didn't have a college degree, but he would give wealthy people tax advice. It just, the story is still untold.
Elizabeth Warren jumped in. Quote, "For decades, Larry Summers has demonstrated his attraction to serve the wealthy and well-connected, but his willingness to cozy up to a convicted sex offender demonstrates monumentally bad judgment. If he had so little ability to distance himself from Jeffrey Epstein, even after all that was publicly known about Epstein's sex offenses involving underage girls, then Summers cannot be trusted to advise our nation's politicians, policymakers, and institutions, or teach a generation of students at Harvard or anywhere else." Basically, Epstein was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges in July 2019. He had been arrested in 2006 after a grand jury indicted him in connection with soliciting prostitution. He pleaded guilty to state charges in 2008, and then the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida negotiated a secret non-prosecution agreement with Epstein at the time, which protected him from federal prosecution. That was a George W. Bush guy that did that. All bad news.
He's like the Kaiser Soze of, American political scandals.
Kaiser Soze?
You don't remember the movie The Usual Suspects?
Oh, no, tell me.
It was the mythical bad guy. The line was protected up on high by the Prince of Darkness. You don't remember that movie?
Well,
somebody listening to us will have.
I'm sure some Patrick.
You remember it? Patrick knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Nodding his head.
But Americans. I think there's this deep feeling in America, that there's a lot that happens at the highest levels of power, whether that's business or government or politics, both, all the above, that never gets told. You can go back to the assassination of JFK. We still have files classified from that, right? There's a system in this country that protects certain things, and I think that as time goes by and more of these secrets become digital, fewer and fewer of them will be kept.
Well, Larry Summers is a prominent Democrat.
Yeah.
Prominent. Now, he's kind of the old-style Clinton Democrat.
Right.
But, think about this. The guy had been convicted and on state charges back in 2008. 11 years later, Summers is still talking to him and apparently trying to hustle up some chick affiliated with Summers. Summers is a married guy affiliated with Epstein.
Well,
that sounds like trafficking.
Well, this has reached all the way across the ocean, right? This has had a deep impact on the British royal family.
Yeah, Prince Andrew is no longer a prince; he's now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and apparently he's got no royal duties, no royal house.
No.
Apparently, he's going to flee to Abu Dhabi. Did you see that?
I did, and you have to ask yourself, how does one guy in New York, with no discernible business interests or source of wealth, get to be in contact with all these people?
Prince Andrew, Larry Summers, Bill Clinton. Apparently, Bill Clinton was down on this island.
And I get part
times.
of it's like a New York thing, right? I understand that, but at the same time, we're now talking about the British royal family. We're talking about the White House. There's Bill Clinton. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. Back with more after this. He's Clint Brewer. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
everyone. EJ Host here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Clint Brewer. Clint, late last night, a Chancery Court judge in Nashville told Bill Lee that he's really not the governor of the state, that she is.
A Chancery Court judge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patricia Head Moskal.
Not your Chancery Court judge.
I wondered who might it be.
Right.
They're kind of interchangeable, though, I think. Chancery Court judges in Nashville.
Yeah.
They're far left. And now, notably, so she said that I need to send her a copy of the Constitution.
Mm.
She seemed to miss the Supremacy Clause.
Oh, yeah, the old Supremacy Clause.
Now, this was a lawsuit brought by typical leftists, right? And the mayor of Shelby County, who's a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name is what? Lee Harris? What's his name?
Sounds right.
Lee Harris, is that his name?
Yeah, former state legislator.
Yeah, I think so. I may have got that name wrong. But anyway, so he's the mayor of Shelby County. And he got it with a bunch of leftist groups. And they filed a lawsuit. Now, interestingly enough, they filed it in Davidson County. Now, the reason they filed in Davidson County is because the governor resides in Davidson County.
The order came from
Davidson County.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. But interesting enough, here in the state of Tennessee, Davidson County judges are almost all far left.
Yeah, well, Democratic politics are the dominant strain in Nashville.
Absolutely. Now, it's interesting because the National Guard is governed by a whole bunch of federal statutes.
Right.
And the governor, under federal statutes, has the authority to deploy National Guard for natural disasters or civil disturbances. But the argument that this judge accepted was based upon the Tennessee State Constitution. I have a copy of it right in my hand here. This is a little booklet put out by our friends at the Nashville School of Law. It's a great little booklet.
Where Mike is a student right now.
I know, trying to survive the second year, night law school. It's the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of Tennessee. It's a very nice little
very
booklet.
handy little book.
Yeah, it really is, and nicely bound.
Oh.
And I think I need to give a copy of this.
I would like a copy. Give me a copy.
I have one. In fact, I will give it to you right now.
Okay.
During the break, before we get to.
Okay. I'd love to have one.
Before we get
that's
to
a handy thing to have.
News Potpourri. Article 3, Section 5 of the state constitution says the governor shall be commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy of the state and of the militia. It says militia, folks, not National Guard. There's a distinction. Except when they shall be called into the service of the United States. But the militia shall not be called into the service except in the case of rebellion or invasion, and then only when the General Assembly shall declare by law that the public safety requires it. Now, the militia is a state organization, and, historically, any free male between the ages of 17 and 45 was automatically a member of the militia.
Yeah, militias used to have musters. They would just muster. Yeah. They would gather. It was a citizens' army.
If there were, the militia would, for instance, be called up to go down and fight the Battle of New Orleans.
Right.
Right. The governor would call them up, and if you were age 17 to 15, you had to join the militia.
So the bottom line is that she's calling the National Guard a militia, which is
right.
It is not.
It is not a militia.
Right.
And it's quite clear that the National Guard is empowered by federal statutes. Now, there's also something in the federal Constitution called the Supremacy Clause.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a conflict between state law or state constitutions and federal law, federal constitution, the federal law is supreme.
You know, I've had a handful of knockdown, drag-out arguments about this with friends who are far more left than I am. Real friends, but people I disagree with politically. And, it always comes back to the optics of having military soldiers on the ground in an American city, and it comes back to how it makes people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And, what I've played back to them is I get those things, but we are attempting in this country to put the genie back in the bottle after roughly 40 to 50 years of failed immigration policy, or no immigration policy. And and that's unilateral. I mean, that's across both parties. No one has a pass on this. And, the White House and the president are trying to do something very, very difficult. They're trying to solve a public policy problem that's been created over, decades of neglect and negligence. And it's not pretty. I mean, it's not pretty. And that's on the immigration side. On the law enforcement side, I don't really understand why public officials elected in Memphis would not be able to recognize the crime problem the city has.
They don't care.
Well, it's been this way for
they don't care.
As long as anybody can remember. It's part of the city's unfortunate reputation. And, I think that the citizens there have as much of a right to safe streets as they do in, Franklin or Mount Juliet. And, I don't understand why. I mean, look, this is not going to be a popular thing to say, but there have been many instances, some not in the too distant past, where Memphis citizens and taxpayers had cause to doubt their own police department.
Yeah.
And that goes back decades. And so I do not understand why an elected official in Memphis or in Shelby County would not be willing to engage in dialogue. And I believe the Memphis city mayor has.
Yeah, Paul Young has said, he's not going to resist him coming in.
Engage in dialogue and partner with federal law enforcement officials and the governor to help people there and not to make this about national partisan politics.
In October of last year, Governor Bill Leahy mobilized the Tennessee National Guard to aid in flood rescue efforts in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because of Hurricane Helene.
Right.
Under this ruling, he would not be able to do that.
Right.
But this ruling will not stand.
No.
Because of the supremacy clause. By
the
way,
greater legal minds will prevail.
Yeah, it'll go to the appeals court and she'll be slapped down. By the way, it's not. She issued a 5-day stay on it, so it'll be appealed by a very effective Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti. All right, I found a copy of this.
Okay.
Here's the booklet. I will officially give it to you. It's the Nashville School of Law, the Constitution of the United States of America, and the State of Tennessee. I am officially presenting it to you.
Oh, thanks. I feel like I just spoke at Rotary.
There you go.
Do I get a coffee cup too? I love it. Thanks, man.
You do. Now, we're not going to play pomp and circumstance.
Okay, please don't. Please don't.
That will come in handy.
Yeah, that's a great little
item. When you're talking with your leftist friends,
or some of my friends on the right sometimes.
The Constitution says, well, let me double check that.
Talking to anybody who didn't go to civics class.
What does the Constitution actually say on this? It's interesting also. Did you see this story about this this activist from Memphis who, in essence...
You're going to have to be more specific. You said activist in Memphis.
Yeah, it's a left-wing activist who basically... her name was L.J. Abraham.
Okay.
And she put out a social media post that she said she hopes State Senator Brent Taylor, Republican from Shelby County, who is really pushing this program to make Memphis matter.
Yeah.
And is out there talking to everybody, had a good conversation with Mayor Paul Young, and I think was part of the team that brought him on board. She said she hopes, L.J. Abraham, Memphis left-wing activist, said she hopes that State Senator Brent Taylor will, quote, catch one in the throat, end quote. Now, that to me is a direct reference to the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. I think the TBI needs to pay her a visit.
Well, you know what she says about it? She said the fact that State Senator Brent Taylor shared this post that she claimed he, quote, looks like he's ready to catch one in the throat, end quote. She now says that this has put her life in danger.
Okay.
I know. This is called projection craziness.
Yeah, I mean, I just, again, we've said on the show many times, political violence and language that promotes it can't be tolerated. I mean, we can't, we don't need censorship, but we just need people to behave themselves. I mean, that's not how you engage in public debate. That's not how you engage in a meaningful dialogue that's going to move public policy forward. Mayor Young has engaged in that. He has talked to decision makers in Nashville, and they found a middle ground. And I just do not understand why other leaders in Shelby County would not want extra protection for their citizens. I don't get it.
Well, where this is headed, I'll tell you where it's headed. Our Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti, will appeal this to the Court of Appeals, and they will rule in his favor, in the Governor Lee's favor.
Yeah.
The National Guard is not going to be kicked out of Memphis because of the misinterpretation of the Tennessee State Constitution by a Tennessee Chancery Court judge.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's been one of the most dangerous cities in America for decades, and I don't know what else has to be done. I mean, local leadership has not taken responsibility or control of the issue. So what else is there to be done? I mean, I don't love it. I don't love the idea of armed, soldiers in American streets, but some of these cities, it's just gone too far.
Yeah, and they're not arresting people.
No.
They're performing other functions.
Right.
Support functions.
Right.
The Memphis Police Department, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, those are the folks that are engaged in the actions that are, arresting criminals. And, they found, 100 kids, 100 missing kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is astonishing, isn't it?
It is. It's sad. It makes you wonder if, there aren't 1,000 more to find out there.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
I mean, I'm just baffled by this. I mean, I understand the optics of it. I understand why people don't like the way it looks, but whether it's immigration, whether it's law enforcement, there are just some of these cities we've let go too far.
When we come back, guess what, Clint? News potpourri.
Okay.
Back after this.
This is Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Got to turn and run, huh?
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the one, the only all-star panelist, fully recovered journalist, Clint Brewer. Clint, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of irony. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been doing the circuit of the left-wing media outlets, right?
Yeah.
She was on CNN, and she was on The View.
The View, that's the one that gets me. Like, I can understand CNN, but The View, I can't imagine. Were they civil to her? I don't.
Oh, she actually, they were pretty civil to her because she was basically criticizing Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Right? And
I mean, setting politics aside, The View's got to be like the worst show in America.
Pretty much.
It's just so cringy. Whether they're talking left-wing politics or not, it's just awful.
You might want to listen to this.
Okay.
Senator John Kennedy was asked if he would ever appear on The View. Let's see what he had to say about that.
Will you be going on The View anytime soon?
I will not be going on The View. I will not be going on The View. In fact, my version of hell is being required to watch reruns of The View for the rest of eternity.
I would like to start the petition actually right now.
There you go. That's pretty funny.
That's that he said what I was trying to say, only he did a better job.
He's really funny, isn't he?
Yeah, that's great.
He's a very sharp guy. Okay, a couple of other things. There's a problem in Texas.
Just one?
Well, one problem is that Muslim mosques are spreading like wildfire.
In Texas?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. The governor, Greg Abbott, has designated the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as transnational criminal organizations. I think that's a necessary thing to do. What else do we have going on right now? We've had a technology problem. Have you noticed that Cloudflare?
Yeah, it happened to me this morning.
Cloudflare was down.
Half a dozen things I needed to use didn't work for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, they came back, but still, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
There's a Supreme Court case that's coming up. The Ninth Circuit said a policy of preventing illegals from metering asylum seekers from crossing the border, which has been around since 2018. The Ninth Circuit said, well, that we can't do that. And the immigrant groups wanted the Supreme Court not to take it. Guess what? They're going to take it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they rule on that. I'm glad they are going to take it. Tammy Duckworth, you know who she is, right? The Democrat senator from Illinois. She will be the senior senator in January of 2027 because Dickie Durbin is not running for re-election. Dickie Durbin, right? Here's some breaking news from Bill Melugin. She's notified ICE. She's fired a staffer who was accused by ICE of pretending to be the attorney of a previously deported illegal alien in an effort to free him from federal custody. Duckworth tells ICE in a letter she was not aware of and didn't authorize or direct the staffer's conduct. Are you buying that?
I don't know how some of these folks get themselves in these situations.
Yeah. You want to talk a little football?
If we have to. As long as it's not the Titans.
Virginia
or the
Tech.
Vols.
Virginia Tech has a new head coach.
James
Franklin.
Yeah. It was a good hire.
It's a good hire by Virginia Tech. In the Frank Beamer days, they won double-digit games for a decade. In the last decade of his time.
Oh, yeah, he was a great coach. His son's a terrible coach.
Yeah. Well,
his son just got canned by South Carolina.
Did he?
Shane Beamer, yeah.
Got fired today?
I think it was last week.
No. It wasn't last week.
Oh.
I don't think he's fired yet. Because on Saturday, they were ahead South Carolina was ahead of Texas A&M.
Yeah, I thought it happened.
30
I
to 3.
thought it happened after that game.
Well, I'll double check.
Maybe it was just somebody with a hopeful meme on social media.
It could have been a hopeful meme, but they were.
If they keep him, they deserve all the mediocrity they're going to get.
A&M was was number 3 in the country. They were down at halftime, 30-3. They beat South Carolina 31-30.
Well, all I can say is the apple fell really, really far from the tree when it came to Shane.
Well, he's got the right last name.
He's
right?
just kind of an entitled jerk.
Well, almost doesn't count, right?
Yeah.
But James Franklin, now, interestingly enough, I think that's an excellent hire.
Yeah.
For Virginia Tech. That's an ACC school.
Yeah, Penn State's crazy. I mean, they're crazy.
Well, this is kind of interesting. That Penn State owed him like $54 million.
Yeah.
And they cut a deal. So Virginia Tech hires him, and he's going to settle for $9 million from Penn State. So there must have been look. This is a great hire for Virginia Tech.
Oh, fantastic hire, yeah.
Here's a weird story. You know Shadur Sanders?
Mm-hmm.
The starting quarterback for the Browns was injured.
Right.
They were up 16-10 over the Ravens at halftime. So second half, it's Shadur Sanders. He went 4 for 16 and ran for he had some good runs. But they didn't score any points and they lost the game.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't so hot. It was a bad day for him because while he was playing for the Cleveland Browns, his home was robbed.
Oh.
And I don't know if it was one of these, South American robbery crews, but that's what they've been doing. If you're, an NFL player and you got a lot of money,
and they know where you're going to be.
They know where you're going to be.
They know
on
you're
Sunday.
not going to be home. Yeah.
You're not going to be home. Anyways, his home was robbed.
Terrible.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be in the NFL long.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish him well, but
no.
4 for 16.
I don't think he's a bad kid. I think his dad doesn't do him any favors.
And on that,
or his dad did him too many favors. You can.
I did you a favor.
Yeah.
Because I didn't talk about the Tennessee Titans.
Well, I don't.
Or the Volunteers.
The Volunteers are breaking my heart.
I know. Well, we'll see how they do against Vanderbilt.
We'll see.
Back
in Florida.
I know. All right. So, Clint Brewer, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
All right. We'll be back. I'll be in D.C. tomorrow. And E.J. Haas will be the guest host.
Okay.
See you then. Have a good day.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
Flatfeenashville.com, flatfeenashville.com.